Well, I'm Julian Kosloff from Kosloff Architecture, and I'm presenting with Lance, who's project architect on this project today. We're presenting Delacombe Stadium, which is a competition basketball and netball gymnasium located on Delacombe Primary School campus.
The client is the Victorian School Building Authority, and the project is delivered under a lump sum modified AS 2124 contract, with Kosloff as the superintendent engaging full subconsultants. Delacombe Primary School staff, students and community members, Ballarat Council and Ballarat Basketball are our key stakeholder group. And for us, the process of consultation is really about how to have a meaningful conversation with face-to-face workshops, student drawing activities, online surveys, one-to-one interviews and listening posts. We listened and talked about what success could look like for the community. And of course, they wanted in some ways the prosaic elements, the gym, a place for basketball, volleyball, for sport and assemblies. But more broadly, what they really wanted is a project that invites the town into the school, removes boundaries and encourages a sense of wider ownership. As part of this, they need a facility that provides a means of income to fund educational support programs and outreach services. At the moment, the building is rented out most evenings and weekends with a yearly return of about $35,000, which has a huge impact to the school's functionality.
So with the school's support, we were interested in exploring the idea of the civic, as well as challenging the typical gym typology. Delacombe is on the fringe of Ballarat, a population of around 6,000 people. It was named in 1965 after a post-World War II program that included the development of around 150 social housing blocks, which were all constructed on farming land. So in many ways, it's typical of the outer urban development or peri-urbanism. It's an area that's located immediately adjacent to a more larger city area. The town itself is a byproduct of agricultural land, which has been converted to industrial, commercial and residential uses. Predominantly, it's a disparate mix of low density residential housing and light industrial sheds, all of which dominate the built environment. Delacombe, the town itself, has a really limited public amenity, and it's dispersed, and there's no sort of real heart or town centre. And I guess we were interested in exploring the immediate relationship to our site, which is in orange in the centre there, where a formative cluster of sort of public functions could be reinforced by the siting and the design of our new stadium.
The building, shown centre bottom of the screen here, is started to address and leverage off the adjacencies. The Doug Dean Reserve to the west serves as a user for the changing rooms, meeting rooms and facilities on the northern side of the building. It's a local club hub. The building creates a pocket park to the north and kick-around space between the existing 2010 era BER building, creates a new junior year's outdoor play space to the west, and prominent entry immediately off Greenhubs Road to the south, a new front door for the school. Now, the plan arrangement here shows the entry sequence of the road with compressed low height foyer, drawing visitors through to an undercover eastern veranda and northern amenities wing, all laminated around the larger gymnasium element. The offset here, or slippage of form and porosity of view through spaces to beyond, allows the large floor plate to offer a sense of generosity while also providing for the intimate.
So returning for a moment to the dominant typologies of the town, which is industrial and residential, we were interested in drawing out the scale and texture of the industrial shed and also the ubiquitous nature of the brick veneer house, and I guess using them as formal design drivers. We felt that the scale relationship between industrial and residential typologies surrounding our site also provided, many cues as to a street or a civic interface scale, as well as a more domestically scaled campus site.
Here, the entry is shown clearly articulated and providing a sense of immediacy from the street, with fencing removed and built form deliberately sited with offsets of 2 metres to the entry and 5 metres to the large volume. Quite an immediate street interface. East and west short elevations shift in scale to the domestic, the campus, the student and the play space. They provide for strong visible connection and interaction between inside and outside activities.
So how might we push the gym typology? I think as any parent with basketball obsessed kids will testify, these venues are typically acoustically uncomfortable. You know, they're glaringly lit and it's almost impossible to find the front door. You know, formally, they're typically large boxes that don't engage with the street or the campus they might be on. And there's a flatness to the interior that's devoid of, you know, anything poetic. And there's a good reason for this. They're typically executed under a very tight budget. And the budget for our project was really no different at around $3,000 a square metre.
So I think it becomes a question more about editing and judgment when trying to design with these constraints. This extract of the client standards, schedules dictate things like room size, content, where dictated things like gutter sizings, external gutters, impact-proof materials, etc. I think really the capricious gesture is not afforded.
I guess we went to Bunnings, perhaps metaphorically, but not literally, searching for inexpensive proprietary systems that might be deployed in an atypical manner to build a language and a delight that was beyond their usual standard.
86-cent concrete blocks that have a natural blended or modelled texture are used with multiple coursings, wall depths and articulations to carve and shift wall alignments to create a provisional lower skin. Metal cladding profiles that exaggerate the quintessential corrugated sheet are used to bring an urban scale texture to the upper form. Off-the-shelf polycarbonate materials are compressed to mirror the profile of the sheet metal while performing a dissolving trick as the internal lights shift the southern elevation from static to glowing beacon. And here, the turnaround corner and change from solid to transparent as material shifts.
1 minute.
A series of elevations, I guess, you know, there's the campus-facing elevations, you know, we can employ the sort of compressed scale. Then at the bottom, the civic elevation, I guess, with its discrete entry on the right there to the street. The view from the campus. And again. The western face, I guess, again, trying to really lean into that industrial language. Perhaps from a let's return to the idea of the poetic. Most eloquently captured here in this photo of Helsinki Sports Hall at the Helsinki University of Technology. Our interior spaces. And I guess utilising this sort of concertina arrangement of damp lawn that diffuses the light, but also assists with improving the acoustic performance.
I'm perhaps thinking about the theatre, the performance, the internal space, the focus of attention, and the clear span. Thank you.